This is Jack again, but more on creation as the interview continues. So basically, what did Anu want? He wanted his design, with the help of the Syrians, to exist to a certain period here on Earth, a period of evolution, a period where his creation as him will prepare the way before him, so that he is able to return and manifest himself as his own creation, as the God of his own creation here on Earth, so that him and his entire race may manifest here because of the gold. It was all about the gold. And Syrians liked it, of course, because Anu promised the Syrians that they and him and his race will also be able to manifest. So it was the Syrians and Anu and the serpents, those three, that would eventually become the god of this planet. Anu said he doesn't have a problem to share this planet with them, because the systems of the Syrians, the design of the requirement to feed is the serpents, and then of course him, which is the design of the physical human vessel. Which is interesting, because basically that would be the forming of the trinity of the enslavement of mankind, with those three. Okay, now we're to the Fitukas. They were the race that assisted with the more specific designs of nature. They basically manipulated, and let's call it, they were the interior decorator of this earth. They specified in you have clay, and you are able to make the most beautiful shapes and forms with clay, specific shapes, however you wish and desire it to look like. So basically, to them, in terms of the expression of this planet, nature, they were able to form it, play with it, design it into a specific expression. Nature itself, as it exists now, has also been manipulated in terms of the requirement to support the necessity for the animals that were designed by the serpents, which was first the dinosaurs, to be able to feed off. So that, because they also then required nurturing. And this is where the entire cycle of life, or circle of life, or not specific sure about the terminology, but something like that, was placed in and developed. You know, where you have the carnivore, the omnivore, and the herbivore situation, and the whole chain of the entire chain of life, if you want to call it that. And so they assisted in that. So you had the human physical form feeding off the animals feeding off the plants, and the plants, of course, were to an extent fine still. They still remain in their expression of breathing and nurturing themselves, having the abilities to sustain themselves. Though that also became a problem, because that was not enough. Because even now the plants, or nature itself as it existed, couldn't sustain itself as it previously could, and everything started dying. Or it kind of collapsed. It started disappearing, the expression. Then that's why weather was created. Weather, it's also a form of nurturing. The rain. So for instance, in the rain, they programmed a certain essence, the substance, geometrical formed substance. If you look at water drops, they have a specific geometrical structure, snow, etc. And thus from there they programmed in the nurturing for these nature expressions, because of the manipulation they had to undergo to be able to feed the animals, which is basically the dinosaurs at the time, so that the human beings are able to eat. And therefore, the first test run, they decided, let's do this test run, which was what you would refer to as the ape man and the dinosaurs, the prehistoric era. That went on for a few billion years. But remember, in terms of the Anunnaki during that time, it's not really very long at all. It's not. There's one thing the Anunnaki, the Sirians, and the serpents were great at, was patience. If you have patience, as much as they did, I'd say you're very dangerous. Because how long has it been that man existed in this world? And all of this had been a plan to prepare the way for the Anunnaki, the Sirians, and the serpents to be able to once again come and manifest here in this world within the systems that have been placed in with you in one moment, to program you again so that you may prepare their kingdom, their city, to be able to manifest in this world, to exist in this world. That's patience. So now you're probably asking, but Anu obviously still exists. Yeah. After he realized that the belief of the requirement of gold to exist was just a belief. It wasn't really so. But all is specific. You know, sometimes I actually laugh at everything to a certain extent. You know, it's not a funny situation. I understand. Please don't get me wrong. I'm laughing from the perspective of realizing how this puzzle actually fits together and how everything then starts making sense. And that's what people ask. They want to make sense of the reason for what's going on here. Why they're here. Why is all of this happening? There must be a reason. And as the story flows, you'll see. And you'll actually laugh with me because you won't believe it. But then you will. Thank you. This is Jack.